Red cards have a couple interesting mechanics to get used to, but the big one is laceration. Some cards will lacerate either their target or their user. When someone is lacerated, they take as much damage as AP they spend. When you end your turn, your laceration is removed. The cards that lacerate yourself tend to give you great buffs, and the cards that lacerate your opponent put them in a tough position where they basically need to skip a turn. The strider associated with red cards is Madame Amelia, a demonic, man-eating spider lady who is the ringleader of a travelling occult circus. Her ability lets her make a melee attack that doesn't deal damage, but ignores traps and prevents the target from moving on their next turn. This is an excellent positioning tool. The first artifact, Berserker Axe, is as simple as they come. Whenever you play a red card, deal 1 damage to something. With Berserker Axe, you want your deck to be as purely red as possible to get maximum damage out of it. The second artifact, Scarlet Sabers, is quite unique, in that it grants you access to another active ability rather than a passive one. With Scarlet Sabers, you can spend 2 AP to make a melee attack that ignores traps and deals 1 damage, and you can do this as many times as you want on your turn provided you have enough AP. Why is this good? 2 AP for 1 damage is a little steep. Well, it's particularly good in conjunction with the stance cards. Each of the 4 stance cards give your melee attacks a permanent buff, whether that be extra damage, card draw, movement, or shield points. They're all useful, but you can only have 1 active at once. The third artifact, Crown of Rage, gives you shield points whenever your allies, including you, take laceration damage. This is meant to be used in conjunction with cards such as Berserker Rage, which lacerates you but doubles the damage of your red attacks, Sanguine Rondash, which also gives you shield points, and Blazing Spirit, which returns red cards to your hand after you play them. These cards lacerating you is normally a pretty negative side effect, but with Crown of Rage it's not that bad. For the record, Berserker Rage does apply to the attacks from Scarlet Sabers, and does double any extra damage from sources like Dragon's Dance, or from the first red character, the King of Bulls, whose attacks deal an extra 1 damage while he's lacerated. The second red character, Carrion Crow, is cheap and frail, and prefers its targets to be the one that's lacerated. The crow forces your opponent to discard a card from their hand whenever they are hit whilst lacerated. This can be devastating for an opponent with weak card draw. The third red character is the Rusted Goliath, who hits all other entities in its zone whenever it makes a melee attack. This is perfect for clearing tokens, or for hitting multiple enemies at once. There are a few useful red effect cards I'm yet to mention. Incinerate breaks all tokens in a zone or discards an enemy trap. Tactical Shift is great for card draw, discarding a card from your hand and drawing as many cards as that card's AP cost. Unsheath lets you draw a card, and if it's an attack you can make, you must do so for free. If it's not an attack you can make, you must discard it. As long as your deck is packed with attacks, you'll be fine. Frenzy lets you accumulate extra damage as you take damage. And lastly, Immolate lets you play any card that you want completely free, except you take damage equal to that card's AP cost. This includes artifacts or characters. There are a few red melee attacks. Charge makes you move before making a melee attack, so it's effectively like moving but with a little cheeky extra bit of damage thrown in. Jab is even simpler, 1 AP, 1 damage. Rusty Claw lacerates the target, while Serpentine Shred lacerates potentially 3 targets as long as you get past their shield points. Lockjaw Fang is a fine attack on its own, but has the extra feature of preventing a lacerated target from moving. Chomp is pretty expensive, but deals considerable damage with no side effects. Leap into the Fray is also fairly expensive, but lets you move as far as you need to get into melee range. Iron Butterfly Inferno Dance is, yes, a crazy name, and it has a pretty crazy effect too. You make a melee attack, discard a card, and flip a coin. On heads, do it again. Or stop, up to you. But on tails, it's not up to you, you have to stop. There are only 2 red ranged attacks. Iron Sights, which deals substantial damage as long as you don't move, and Worm Breath, which deals decent damage but also creates a token that deals damage equal to the AP someone spends while in the same zone as it, but it only lasts for a brief while. The 2 red traps, Spike Pit and Spiky Jacket, lacerate an enemy when they move or make a melee attack against you, respectively. Red cards have a lot going for them. Laceration can really shut down your opponent or let you play balls to the walls. If this excites you, you can purchase a Strider pack including Amelia, Berserker Axe, and 9 other useful red cards for only $10. You can also purchase Ruby packs which comprise of 10 random red cards for $6. Or you can get a Strider pack plus 3 Ruby packs for only $25. All of this and more can be found at www.tatzelworms.com, and if you have any questions, don't be afraid to comment below. Thanks for watching.